يَهْدِ بِهِ كَثِيرًا. Allah misguides to the Quran many and guides to the Quran many. Even the Quran is secondary. Think about it. Think about what is being said very, very properly and deeply when you go back home. Even the Quran is secondary. There is no handbook there. I am here and I'm expected to find myself and my way around. This is the challenge. We are nowhere within any safety parameters. There is no safety net. We are in the deep of the ocean, about to drown. It's about time we awoke to this reality. Now, what does it mean in mine, in your context? I am very pleased, happy, and complacent in two ways. One is how I am. And the way that I am is supported by the things that I believe in. The principle of defying inner limits in accordance with the existential world that defies every limit, shirk, we said, was to be complacent with my inner state. Shirk. And that is wholly inconsistent with what we find within existence. So the only way out is to redefine ourselves. Now, what does that mean? All the intellectual world that we have erected within our minds, none of this means anything until it is challenged. Look at our attitudes. When we engage with a Christian for an interfaith dialogue, we already know that we are right and they are wrong, don't we? We already know we are right and they are wrong. And we engage with them at face value, and it's a hypocritical engagement. I have never been a true human being, a liberated soul, because sharik, mushrik, is a person who is enchained by their fixed identity of an I. A liberated soul is the one who has no fixed identity. There is nothing but beautiful fluidity, like existence. A tree growing beautifully. There is fluidity there. It is only the heart and the depths of the conscience that become stagnant. When I engage with a Christian, have I ever had this idea that if he is right, I will adopt whatever he is saying? Never. I have not been man enough to do this. That is an expression of shirk. How do we know that this God that we've conjured up in our mind could be the biggest Lat and Uzza? Look at the Prophet of Allah when he states that Salman is on the 10th level of faith. Abu Dhar is on the 9th level of faith. By God, if Abu Dhar were to know what is in the heart of Salman, he will say Salman is a kafir. Abu Dhar would proclaim, Salman, you are a kafir. And Abu Dhar would deem the shedding of Salman's blood as permissible within Sharia. Why? Salman sees a God that Abu Dhar cannot even smell. Salman has gone to that level of liberation in which he has challenged. Just think about it. Today, by God, even if our blessed Imam were to come and say, you are doing this wrong, we will say, you are wrong. Do you know this? Look at the way we are. It's just to express a point. I'm not nitpicking or anything. This is not my intention. Some beautiful people, and all God's creatures are created in Allah's beauty. Allahu Akbar. I once asked myself, and I know I was in Qum at that point, I said, oh Allah, where are your friends? Show them to me. And he said, they are in front of you. Who else can be my friend but they? Imagine people who take their time out and come and sit down and tolerate different speakers for their love of Hussein ibn Ali. Imagine the worth of those people. These are the true friends of Allah. And as the first Imam has said, our true graves are not in Najaf and Karbala. They are in the hearts of our lovers. But today, our state of this fixed definition, identity and individuality, is so strong that even if the Prophet himself were to come and tell us that this Islam is wrong, we will say, you are wrong. Can you see that? This is the state that we need to challenge. And this is a state that needs to be challenged. It is only then that the process of arrival at Allah can truly begin. We need to become fluid like existence, not stagnant. The truth of our personality should be that just as our bodies shed their limitations and they grow, our personalities have to shed their limitation and have to expand. He who Allah wishes to guide, Allah expands his heart towards Islam. That is the verse of Allah. Allah expands his heart, and the one who is misguided, his heart is constricted. We will come to this thoroughly. But when Hur came to the Imam and he said, I plead for forgiveness, that criminal who had committed the crime was no longer there. This was a new person altogether. There was nobody left there to be punished anymore. Can you see that? The way Imam Hussein was seeing it was totally different. Hur had defied his inner limitations, and he had grown into a beautiful soul. And Imam said, even if I wish to punish, who will I punish? There is nothing left to be punished here anymore. He is a different person altogether. And that is why, and we'll explain these thoroughly as we go along, at-taib kaman la dhanba, a person who is repentant is like the one who has no sin. Why? Because the personality has changed altogether. And Allah will say to the angels, even if you want to punish, that Arif has died and gone away. This is a new person altogether. It's an evolving reality. That embryo is not an embryo anymore. It has become a child. That criminal is not a criminal anymore. He has become a saint. He is not he. And that is the bottom line. The absolute principle in defiance of shirk is not to become complacent with our state, but to become fluid and to allow for newer expressions. And Allah says, وَكُلَّ يَوْمٍ هُوَ فِي شَأْنٍ. At every instance he claims his glory, and that is the truth that me and you need to uphold. From within we need to evolve. Now, look at our intellectual inner stagnation. Even if we become professors, marajas, mujtahid, we can be totally stagnant from within our personalities. And I'm talking about two levels of the intimate reality of an individual. The intellectual level and the level of emotions. I like this, I dislike this. The very fact I can say I like this and I dislike this shows a limitation. It shows the prevalence of my I and its fixed definition. This is the only trend that can bring, the trend of defying la ilah, negating the self, negating intellectual boundaries, that can bring us to Allah. But there are two different trends that take place here. One is of the identity becoming fixated and constricted. And the other one is the breaking of the individual identity and its evolution, growth and expansion. Look at these two. Jibreel comes to the world, says to Ibrahim, Ibrahim, Allah wishes to take a friend on the face of this earth. Allah wishes to choose a Khalil. It's such a hard point in the life of Ibrahim. Ibrahim has become a Nabi, has become a Rasul, has become everything he had to become. The crowning glory of Ibrahim's life arrives, and Jibreel says, Allah wishes to choose